All right. Hello, everyone. Please let me know if you can hear me. You can let me know in the chat. We were having some audio difficulties, so just trying to make sure that you can hear.
Everybody can hear? What's up? Just doing some last minute preparations. Going to be real simple today, but really an interesting subject. All right. First of all, welcome. Unless y'all can see us, because I was about to add some more light, but yeah, that look all right? Mm-hmm. All right. They can see us. Yeah. So y'all, we haven't seen y'all since December.
Yes, December.
Welcome. Happy New Year.
Yes.
It's a great new start. We're so glad that 2020 is gone, even though we still face a lot of challenges. Mm-hmm. But if you're a believer in God, you know this is not going to last. He's going to come back and give us a new earth. We can eat new food.
Yes.
Better food.
New beginnings, new stars.
Immortality. So welcome. I'm Anthony Pascal.
And I'm Yamada Pascal.
Yeah, we're together working on this health talk, and we are Pastor First Lady of the Wings of Love, Maranatha Ministries Church of East Oakland. Saw some of your services yesterday because we basically stayed home. So Guillermo, if you're on the line, I really was impressed by your enthusiastic presentations of what you did yesterday for the Kansas Avenue Church. So just really got thrilled. I have some questions to ask you about that. But today, welcome, first of the year. We got really simple stuff because my wife, Yamada, First Lady, has gone through an interesting revelation here recently. So if we start back a little bit, you had some scratchy head, or what was the first kind of weird sign about what was going on, and then bring us all the way up to.
Okay.
I got that. I'm
Okay.
just came to get you on.
All
So
right.
I got to go clear some stuff. Turn down the sound, but y'all listen to this. Check it out.
All right. If you see me move around, it's because I'm also letting people in as they come in. So one of the things, or the main things that we'll be talking about, and if you hear my son in the background, it's because he's watching the Laker game. So he's enthusiastically back there cheering the Lakers on. But to get started, sometimes I'll say it like this. Sometimes we get busy in our day-to-day life, in our runaround, that we tend to not notice things or let things kind of go until it gets to a point where it's like really, really, really noticeable. And so if I start with the family history, genetically per se, particularly from my dad's side, genetic history of skin problems, whether it's psoriasis or eczema, dandruff. Dandruff is just skin problems just in the scalp area. Those types of skin problems. And that's been on and off for me younger. Then I went through a period, which is really when I started changing my diet and doing all those wonderful things, adding probiotics and all the things that we talked to you guys about. I started seeing a lot of those changes, or a lot of those skin issues going away. And if you noticed at the beginning, there were a few questions that we asked in terms of, do you have any food allergies, and stress level, right? So for me, I think I've never taken an official food allergy thing, but I'm sorry. I don't know if you can hear my son. I can hear him, so it was distracting me a little bit. But anyway, I've never had an actual food allergy testing, as you can get done. But if we pay attention to our bodies, sometimes you can tell the things that you might be allergic to. A lot of people are allergic to dairy and might not even be aware that they're allergic to dairy. Some people might be allergic to wheat or corn, and so those are some of the common allergens. So I'm saying all of that to say that probably within the last year or so, and I only say that because of where I am now and looking back, right, reflecting back, probably within the last year or so, my hair has always shed. Okay, those of you that deal with hair shedding, we normally have our cycles of our hair shedding. And so I never thought anything of it. And, I was born with the really full, thick head of hair. So I've just always normally been I don't even think anything of it. But here recently, there was something that happened that really made me have to look at, okay, maybe this hair shedding thing is not normal, right? So I want to move that into so I'll show you, I'm going to share with you the next slide. You can't see the slide, but I'm going to share with you guys a slide so that you can see, what I'm talking about. So autoimmune diseases, right? And when we think of autoimmune, Most of us probably understand that it's basically when your body starts attacking your body. So your body is set, your immune system is set up to protect you, to attack foreign invaders, right? Viruses, bacteria, anything that the body will perceive as invasive, bad for the body, right? So it's going to attack it. But an autoimmune disease or autoimmunity is basically when your body starts perceiving even good things as bad and starts attacking it. And anytime that there's any type of attack, for example, allergies, right? There's inflammation that happens with allergies. More histamines are being released, but your body is in attack mode, okay? So there's inflammation that happens. And autoimmune diseases have actually been increasing more as, you know, as time has increased, right? So even though medicine has increased and technology in medicine has increased, autoimmune diseases have increased. And so it's interesting because probably a lot of us might be walking around with some type of autoimmune disorder or disease, and we don't pay attention, right? We don't pay attention. And so you can see there a list of the most common autoimmune diseases, right? You know, asthma, there's so many, that's one of them, one of the common ones listed of so many people. My children have asthma. So there are a lot of things that you see there on the infographic. And then I just put a few that are not listed. The list it's an exhaustive list, and they keep adding to the list. But a few not listed would be celiac disease, which is people who are gluten intolerant, diabetic neuropathy, so people who suffer with diabetes and then eventually have neuropathy, and that's whenever the nerves now get attacked and, you know, diabetics start losing the sense of feeling. Eczema, which is something that, you know, like I said, genetically, I've seen in my family, and, you know, have had my bouts here and there with it, not necessarily thinking that it's autoimmune. And then, of course, the triggers to the immune system. It can be stress, it can be food allergies, hormones, metals, pesticides, and poisons. So you know, this is where I pick up with my story. So you know, my hair's been shedding, and then probably like 3 weeks ago or something to that effect, my son, who is visiting from Oakwood, I think we were getting ready for church or something like that, and so you know, I'd finished fixing my hair and all that kind of stuff, and he even compliments me on my hair, and then and then I turn around to walk away, and he was like, wait, Mom, let me fix something. And when he's fixing my hair, he notices a bald spot somewhere back here. One that was noticeable because of the way my hair had been arranged, but not big enough that, you know, that if I do my hair a certain way, you can't really see it. And so, you know, if you've never experienced that, I was like, what? A bald spot? Like, I don't have anyone in my family, any of the women in my family that has ever been bald. From both sides, my grandmother died at age 97 with a full head of hair. So I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, the first thought is like, am I going bald? So long story short, fast forward, I went ahead and, you know, responsibly made an appointment with my doctor. And, you know, because of COVID, we did one of those video conferences. And, you know, and I explained to her, you know, the deal. And she was like, do you have any pictures, or can you show me? And I was like, I can't show you. I didn't even see it. So I was like, I can't show you. But my son had taken a picture of it. And so I was like, oh, I have a picture. And, you know, I sent it to her. And immediately she was like, oh yeah, no, you have alopecia areata. I mean, she was just like, that's what you have. And she was like, and then from there, she immediately went to, we could go into two forms of treatment, either steroid creams or steroid injections to the bald spot. And I mean, she just went so quickly. And I'm still dealing with, what is alopecia areata? Like, what is that? Like, does that mean that I'm going to go completely bald? I'm like, I'm still back there. And she's already talking about, and then she started talking about something else. And my mind was moving slowly, because now whatever else she was talking about, I was thinking, injections on my head? Like, that just does not sound good at all. So, that has been my journey so far within this month. But then in that, she was like, we're going to take some blood tests to make sure that, you don't have any deficiencies that could be could be exacerbating your issues. But
so we drove to the Kaiser, whatever that was, a whole bunch of COVID regulations and stipulations for her to do a lab test for about all of 2.5 minutes or something, as I sat down to read thinking it was going to be longer. But so then you had to wait.
I had to wait, got my results back,
and
everything pretty much came out good. Except for, I learned that technically I was not anemic because my hemoglobin levels were great. However, my iron storage has been depleted, or to the point, it's called ferritin. And so my ferritin levels are low. And so, that could possibly be part of the issue. But let me tell you, I have, and Anthony knows, I'm a researcher, so I had to do a lot of research on my own, and to find out, because it's not like the doctor told me that, at least, I mean, maybe she did tell me, I don't know, that might have been while I was still like freaking out about what is that it's they consider it an autoimmune disease, and that basically it's my immune system is attacking the hair follicles. And so that's basically what alopecia areata is. Courses of treatment. Well, the only thing that she offered was the steroid cream, the steroid injections, and to now start taking iron supplements along with the diet that would include high iron levels. And that was interesting, because one of the first things listed on there was red meat, fish, chicken, because it is said, the research has shown that meat has both types of iron, whereas plants only have one type of iron. But they went ahead and also added on their beans, legumes, for people who don't eat meat. So apparently there are iron supplements. But getting back to that, you saw in the graphic that we showed that one of the triggers to autoimmunity can definitely be stress. And so stress can, we've talked about this before, that stress can mimic so many things. And one of the things that I've shared in terms of, people have gone through a lot of stress in terms of the pandemic and just the changes that has brought. And I know that for me, the changes that has brought in the school, as a teacher in the school system, is very stressful. And I mean, I think I'm getting better. Tomorrow I start school again. Although I was kind of like, was like, I don't even want to think about school, because that triggers like stress in me. But one of the things that I have said over and over again is that if I were to rate my stress level, I think it's gotten better because of the break, but it was pretty up there. Without going into details as to what virtual learning has done, not only for our students, but for our teachers as well. It's a very stressful situation.
Mhm.
So,
yeah, and so the doctor said, man, this is the thing to help get this back in your system.
mm-hmm.
And of course, when was the last time you had some meat?
Oh my goodness.
So
like 15 years, maybe?
So the suggestion to go back to meat and thinking it would help turn it around would also, which is what many don't tell you. I know some of you all just probably love that meat and have suggestions to to give to First Lady here about your favorite dish. But it also will create a reaction if you went back to eating it somewhere else, probably, or something else would do. So some of this is in part of the research. You went back to someone we've always presented here, Dr. Sabi, just to see what he might have to say.
Right.
Because whatever medicine suggests, there is probably a plant that compares to that. In fact, someone said, I can't read it, I saved it off of an Instagram that said something about the reason why your medicine might be working is because it starts off with plants.
That's right.
There's a lot of plants.
All sorts of medicine.
So the credit you're giving it starts out with plants, so we can start. The challenge is the reason why we have to go to the intervention of medicine is because we need something acutely done right now.
That's right.
And so sometimes that medicine, because it's been so concentrated with all these, actually goes in there and does the spot. But there's also a list of side effects that come with that, rather than going the slow, meticulous route. If you have the time and the patience, which is what we suggest in 2021, is to just simply eat your way or double up on the way you've been eating. So you came up with something in the last week or so that what you thought was Sabi emphasizing that would help put some things back in your body, as well as supplementing, because we talked about added herbs or something that you ordered.
Right.
So we love that sea moss.
Yes.
Because that's been making a difference.
Yes.
And then there's something you put on your head that makes it kind of get going. And she gave me a little bit, I put it on mine. Now, I can't say mine coming back, but I can say we got some tingling sensations.
That's right. Yes, definitely tingling sensations. So, it's interesting because sometimes, I'm going to use a phrase that you always say, sometimes we have to go back to ground zero.
No.
And I know what ground zero is, because I had to go to ground zero with other issues. But what can happen is that when you get busy and you get stressed out and blah, 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 the way my work schedule is, even staying at home, it's like my level of work was way more, that even though I'm at home, you don't take time for yourself and for your self-care like you should. And, I think this brought me into a moment of reflection, right? So we share these things, not because we're perfect, but because life is real. And sometimes you can know to what you should be eating, what you should be drinking, this, that, or the other. But if you don't take the time to take care of yourself, that neglect of yourself is going to catch up with you. I just think that it would have probably caught up with me much sooner. If I would have been eating differently. However, now I'm so now I'm like, okay, steroids. So I told my doctor, I said, okay, I'm just going to wait for the lab results, and then I'll let you know if I decide I'm going to take the steroid route. And she was like, okay, well, we're not in a big hurry. So my ground zero, right? So we talk about the herbs, right? And so there are a list of herbs that, you know, we don't necessarily, you can either use herbs for what intervention, or you can use herbs in your daily, thing. And I think that is that is the struggle. So, so I have a list of herbs that I have ordered that I don't have in front of me, so I can't show you. But we are taking you on this journey, and so it's a list of herbs that is to be made as a tea, to take as a tea, and also as a rinse. So instead of using my regular shampoo, I'll be using these herbs as a rinse. Why? Because an autoimmune disease is inflammation. And we've talked about things that can cause inflammation. So if you're eating foods that are inflammatory, if you're stressed out, that causes inflammation, your environment, toxins in the environment, all those things cause inflammation. So these particular herbs are to combat inflammation. So they are to open up my pores, increase blood flow, calm down the inflammation, so that now, so my immune system will stop attacking my cells, and therefore my hair follicles can grow and hopefully halt any more hair loss.
Yeah. Mine was attacked a long time ago, so we just thank God for that. But usually in men, it kind of is a sign of graceful kind of moving along.
Yes.
Yes.
And so and I'll share this. As far as I was concerned, I was like, well, I told Anthony, I said, well, you know what? I'm just gonna shave. I'm just I want you to go ahead and cut my hair. I want you to take your clippers and just completely just shave my head. And what was your reaction?
I was like, whoa, let's just see if there's some other avenue. Not, mentally, I've gotten prepared over the weekend because we were down in LA or something. I had to do a funeral this past weekend. I don't know, to be somewhere like Inglewood or something like that, to a family that basically I was on staff to pastor at the 54th Street Church years ago. But went down there, and then so they gave me some time as I was working on my own hair with the clippers, and then got ready. And so, just that delay has helped her kind of slow that down. But really just trying to get ready to, basically, are you ready to be bald? And there's some beautiful bald women, so we ain't ready to.
Look, I still have not discarded the idea.
Yes.
I just said, I'll give it a few weeks. I'll give it a few weeks just to make sure that it's not just a rash decision on my part. So
I got my barber clippers. I got my clippers. They're all ready. I just said, whenever we can work through this thing together. But we're going to try these herbs or this eating for I guess so many days you want to do this.
That's the commitment is going back to ground zero and trying to stick being consistent. So one of the things is definitely being able, we say this all the time, saying no to things. So there are some boundaries that I have to set, particularly work-wise, and say no so that I can create time to take care of me. And in turn, that will give me the ability to be consistent, because sometimes the consistency doesn't come because you don't make time to be consistent.
So any questions, any responses on that up to this point about alopecia, autoimmune situations that may self-attack on the body, what generates it, what gets it going? Part of that, as you can see, is not all, we fall over and drop out of civilization the next day. It starts slowly. Part of the sermon I did this past week was
Mhm.
that, eye-opening to me that your feet actually, before any other part of your body, will kind of let in on what might be happening to your body. So, I mean, how many of us have had some itchy feet, burning feet, numbness in the foot, just foot kind of pain, that we can't get over. It affects our walk, affects the balance of the body. But we just learn, man, that could be an indication. But how many of them still go
Right.
years?
Right.
We think we just gonna need another shoe. We think we need and we just keep going years and years. And then the autoimmunity kind of shows up over the course of time, and it affects people differently.
It does. Yes, and I like that you
Mm.
said that it does affect people differently, because a lot of times people aren't even aware that they're dealing with an autoimmune disease, and sometimes you just accept that it's a part of, and you're just gonna live with it, and it's not gonna get any better. When it can get better, and sometimes when we don't do something about it, then another disease and another one adds on top of that. So I think it's important. It's definitely important to you know take time to pay attention to your body, and then at that point, pay attention to your body, and at that point, take time. So people have lived with asthma for years, not necessarily knowing that it's an autoimmune disorder and thinking that they're going to have it forever. And you had it as a child.
Yes, and that's what I was going to say. And part of it is this: it's inflammation.
Right.
It's collection of what Dr. Savy says, Dr. Arnold Everett says. A lot of people said wherever there's mucus, it's gonna, every year we get this what we call the common cold, but it also means that we've been housing some things there that we don't necessarily flow regularly. Because some people that I've heard testimonies of vegans and raw foodists, they haven't had a cold in a while. So what's that? Because they've cleared out a lot of inflammation types of things. And so our hair may not fall out, or we may have issues somewhere else. We have a sore back, bothersome in the back between the shoulder blades. We have mucus in the head, so we get a lot of headaches, ear trouble. This is all inflammation in different parts of the body. We get impotent. That's another sign. We get, we have knee issues.
Yes.
Knee issues is another sign.
Arthritis.
Another sign.
Joint issue, joint pains. And sometimes we chalk it up to age, getting older. And certainly there are hormonal changes that can deal with that. But it's interesting because after reading that list of autoimmune disease, just about everyone has some type of autoimmune disease, and they don't even realize it. And if you go to the doctor, it's so far my doctor has only offered me a temporary fix. She has not been able to say, and we will knock this out. You won't have to worry about this anymore. You'll be good. It hasn't been that. And I take issue with that. I take issue with that because I don't, God has not created us to always be riddled with disease, even though we do live in a sinful world. However, he's provided those things for us. So, so here's the other thing I was going to say. So, people who aren't vegetarian and who aren't vegan, right? And they hear my issue, or they hear an issue that someone else that's vegan or vegetarian might be having. The first thought is, well, see, that's not helping them. So I'm just gonna stick with eating my meat and dairy, even though they might be suffering from asthma or arthritis and other stuff. But they're like, well, if you're vegan or vegetarian, you shouldn't be having any issues.
Yeah, and that's not. Because of the depleted soil, there's always some issues. Like sometimes a lot of vegan eaters are lacking in B vitamins, certain minerals that you have to supplement to make up for it, because the animal eats the grass consistently. We may go a while before we eat greens or plant-based anything. So the difference is consistency. We catch up. We catch some of these things because of a lack of consistency.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as a pastor family, you're not gonna go and dictate where you visit, what you gonna feed us. So we have to, you know, we have some fun with that. We've been way better this time from Halloween to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
We're keeping our fingers crossed,
Yes.
but we haven't been way crazy like we have in the past.
Right.
So that's what helps with some of those winter kinds of issues that come on. Some of us wonder, why do we get a lot more back pain in the winter, you know, knee issues, shin issues. We just eat crazy.
Yeah, and what I'm going to add to that's good. And as you're seeing on the screen, I'm going to go ahead and scroll it down. So Dr. Sabi's nutritional guide. Okay. So these are guides to the foods that he felt best supports our healing. Okay. Now here's the deal. You can be a vegetarian, you can be vegan, but still eat non-dairy or non-meat things that aren't necessarily good for you. Okay. So like I could say, well, you know what? I'm just going to eat some French fries and a veggie burger. There's no.
Are eggs vegan? Or,
no.
Stuff. I mean, they're not vegan, but
yes.
Oreo cookies.
Yeah, Oreo cookies are vegan. So you can definitely eat. You know, you can say you're vegetarian, you can say you're vegan, but maybe you're eating things that are still not healthy for you, or one of the things that I showed you in the slide before can cause food allergies. Okay. And so, you know, why does he have a specific list of vegetables and fruits? If you can explain
these will help to, you know, basically head back to ground zero, number one, but help to mobilize mucus and then replenish with these minerals and vitamins that are naturally in these things. So he wants us to understand the darker, the greener the plant, the color, just take a look at all these colors, the more colorful, the more healthy you can go after these things.
That's right. And he also deals with, and we talked about this earlier, he doesn't he talk about his theories on hybridization?
Yeah, he does not. He believes that exploration with crossbreeding doesn't give the benefits. At least he starts off with the African body. If you got African DNA, that wasn't made for us. So anything, he selects these that are pure and haven't been crossbred. That's what his point is, that somehow when you crossbreed, you know how, I won't call them everybody mad scientists, but scientists like to get in and try this, try that, mix this, mix that, you know, cross this with that and come out with some new improved such a situation, but people don't get the same benefits. One of those is seedless.
Right. And we did talk about that in past. So which is why he doesn't have anything seedless listed. And then, you know, what was interesting to me was the grains. So
so no wheat.
No wheat.
Because it's been kind of messed with since Bible.
Yes. No corn.
No corn, because it's been kind of messed with.
Yes. And if I go back to how I've been eating, okay, if I'm honest, if I go back to how I've been eating these past few months, it's, well, I don't want to.
But it's some cultural stuff.
It is hard. it is hard to avoid some of these things, right? So let's say I'm out and about, which that can be another issue too. If you're out and about and you don't make time to prepare for yourself, or you're going to be out and about and you're not going to eat simple. If I go out and about and I say, okay, I'm going to order myself a veggie burger. Well, that's made with wheat buns. And if let's say, okay, grains aren't listed, wheat isn't listed here. And it is well known because it's on the list. There's like a top 8 or 5 allergen foods, and you can Google that. And wheat is definitely causing issues to more and more people because of how it's been genetically modified. So if I'm eating, or let's say I go to Subway and I get me a veggie sub. Well, but the bread is made out of wheat. And so, if I go back and I look at, if I'm eating a burrito, a veggie burrito, guys, if I'm eating a veggie burrito, it has the tortilla is made out of wheat flour. Or if it, Taco Tuesday, right? Taco Tuesday.
That's some good corn.
The taco is made out of corn. And so for me, if I take a hard look at myself, I can say, well, yeah, I eat vegan, I eat vegetarian, but there's a list of ingredients that have probably, that I might be allergic to. So I found interesting, those are the two things off the bat that I noticed on this list: no wheat and no corn.
Mm-hmm. And they've messed with wheat over the years.
That's right.
Try to make it lighter. You can get bread that's real light. They'll say it's wheat.
Yes.
But that's not the color of wheat. It's the whole, what do you call it? The whole wheat kernel or whatever. They'll separate that, and then they'll make a whole dish or product out of this and out of that. But God made it that the whole actually benefits us.
That's right.
So
and even if you look at the ingredients, let's say that I want to get like rye bread or spelt or whatever was listed in these grains. And it'll say spelt, it'll say rye bread, but I have to read the ingredients, because it will be spelt and wheat, or it will be rye and wheat mixed together. So anyway, it's really opened up my eyes to a lot of these things. And of course, we've talked about the olive oil and the avocado oil and the grapeseed oil. We've sesame oil and hemp seed oil. I have not tried.
Right.
Yeah.
So I've seen a lot of sesame. Well, I'm kind of surprised by that. That's pretty cool. Because it's been in some of the products where I look and say, I don't know about that oil.
Right.
But now I see it's not bad.
Right. And then the nuts and the nuts and seeds. It's a small list. It's a small list
for us, because he's really trying to make sure that nothing got genetically modified or experienced across bread, et cetera, et cetera. These are basics that he feels for people of African descent to start hanging with this and get back to your basics.
That's right.
Your grounds.
And so we're looking at even the spices, right, and the herbs. And so this is something that we're sharing with you guys, because it is something that we are going to incorporate and try to be consistent on. And I'm praying that I will definitely see some results. Pure sea salt, granulated seaweed, kelp dulse, nori, those are all good. Date sugars and agave syrup. So those are the only sweets listed there. And then he has a few things, to try to deal with. And we're going to share, for those of you, if you are interested in getting a copy of this, just let us know on the chat, and we will definitely, try to get this over to you if this is something that would be of interest to you. So yeah, so these are some things that we're going to be trying to work on, and we will definitely, in our subsequent health talks, we'll keep you updated as to how that is working.
But I'm sure they want to know, what are you going to do in this process to combat your discovery? So you started on a couple of things, and maybe you just want to show what's in it without having to go through.
Yes. So one of the and this is similar to a recipe that we have done in the past, but I'm going to share with you what I had for lunch today. So today I went ahead and I made myself bowl, I guess type of a salad. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and share the screen with you because I have the recipe on the screen as well, so that you're not just looking at me. You can look at the recipe as well. All right, so 1 cup of cooked quinoa. And so, you know, I use my trusty rice cooker, and I have and I just put a cup of quinoa in here, and see there's the quinoa in there. And so I just take like 2 big scoops of this, and that's the first thing that I put in this bowl. Then after that, I go ahead and I cut up 1 avocado, the whole thing, cut it up, layered it on top of the bowl. Took 1 plum tomato, which that's what Sabi calls it, but it could be, it's really the Roma tomatoes, or even the what they call the grape tomatoes.
Yeah.
So I cut this up, put it on there. Then I went ahead and, I have to show them the tomatillos.
Oh, yes.
So those of you who are not familiar with tomatillos, if you've ever gone to a Mexican restaurant and they give you that green sauce, okay, they make it out of these they're tomatoes, okay, they're green tomatoes, and they're covered in this covering. But once you peel it off, okay, then it reveals like a green tomato. Okay, now they have them in various sizes. This is a small one. You can find them sometimes in this size. They look just like this, but they're in this size. So what I did is I took about probably about 6 of these, boiled it in 2 cups of water. And then to it, I went ahead and I added the cayenne. I added the Himalayan pink salt to it. I added the apple cider vinegar. And then I either use an immersion blender, or boil it for 10 minutes, or you can take all of that and put it in a blender and just blend it up. And it will look just like that green sauce that you get at the Mexican restaurants. And I take that sauce and I pour it over my mixture. And simple, you know, it's done quickly. I actually like that because it's something that I can get done during my lunch break, which sometimes is not as long as I would like it. But something I can get done in my lunch break and quickly and eat it. And and then of course, and then, you know, pour over it. We have the grapeseed oil, so pour some grapeseed oil over that, and that was it.
Okay, and so that's the meal you can get going. And what's your plan? What you gonna do with that? What's your goal? You're gonna eat it every day, 2 times a day, or get some variety?
Yes, definitely get some variety. So I'll be using Sabi's nutritional guide, and from there, you know, get a variety of different things that I can make. However, my plan is to choose meals that don't take a long time.
Yes.
So that way I'm not like slaving. Well, I say slaving, but that way I'm not taking forever a time, and therefore I feel like, I don't have enough time to eat that. Okay, so
by the next time we come on here, which will be the first Sunday in February,
right?
It'll be like Black History Month. You get a chance to ask and hear the update.
Yes.
How this plan has come, and whether she's like me or, you know.
I might be. I'm still thinking about it.
So we've done fear for Suli. Now, this is what we recommend when you're going through, you know, some sort of I don't know, slight trauma to the body or something that's different or something you want to. So we switched up the greens. Now, before we've used all kale. This is, today, this is arugula.
Yes.
Did I say that right?
Yes.
Arugula. See, I just go get it and put it in there. I can't say it half the time. But up to this point, before we ran out of, and tell them why we go into the dandelions.
Yes. So we've been using the dandelion greens because part of the to reduce inflammation is, and that could be any type of inflammation. So even if you have a digestive issue, that's inflammation, right? So part of that is using bitter greens. Mm-hmm. And dandelion greens, if you've never had them, they're really bitter if you taste them. So we've been using the dandelion greens, which, Sabi definitely recommends. And it's part of the herbs that I'll be using for my hair rinse as well. So
our goal is, now one of the things is to get through this period is to try to have one of these in the morning and one in the evening. Mm-hmm. Okay, because we're on the battlefield, mm-hmm. which means we retreat, we attack, we retreat, we attack. We allow the body to heal, and these have some minerals in there. So I'm going to ask First Lady should go ahead and stir those because I got a little spring water in it. Now, I want you to understand that one of Sabi's suggestions is to drink one of these for the day.
Yes.
I've not accomplished that.
Me neither.
We love to try it. We try and get in because, in my age, I just keep running to empty. But I'm assuming you get to a point where you don't do that. So that's part of the signs of the inflammation. Mm-hmm. Got to keep going to the bathroom, got to keep going. Some people, like you said earlier, attribute that to age. No, it's not just age. It's something else that's going on. You mentioned hormonal changes, but it's the flushing. We tend to drink less when we get older.
Yes.
Or
busy.
Busy. So one of the things she just said about Caleb, the youngest here, is that he don't always eat the best, but what saves him is he drinks a lot of this. He drinks a lot of this. So water's your friend when you're trying to deal with the inflammation. Just go ahead and be by the toilet. We're going to stir up these greens right quick. Yes. So this is what it's going to look like. So that's what it wants. That's what you want to get your greens. Now because this is not hot, the nutrients are preserved. Now, if you were to drink that, it'd be like wheatgrass, but your body would be like saying thank you, and you probably would go have a reaction because they said, "Well, we haven't had this," and start tripping. All right. So then we're going to add to that. I don't know if you're going to be able to tell the difference. So I've already kind of prepared this because I knew we were going to come on. And so these are blueberries and cherries. All right. Thank you. Blueberries, cherries, and 3 of the baby bananas that Sadie suggests. All right. So that was on his list. As you saw earlier, we got these cherries, we got the blueberries. Blueberries are anti-inflammatory. Boy, if you can get that going, you will be all right. All right. So we just pour that in there, and we might add a little more. Well, I'm just going here.
See that? Yeah.
Yes. You see that? So that's straight plant-based. All right. So we can add a little more water to it. It may not need it, but we're going to add some more water to that, and we'll let you see that. But that's all we do. I'm using water for your sake. We're just using water and plants. All right. Mm-hmm. And you will get a chance to see how deep. Yeah. Sorry, I was doing that, but I was trying to be creative and talk over the thing. Go ahead and run it some more. All right, so I want to show you, this is straight nature. All right, if you were to take the top off, it would be like sometimes you can almost spoon it, but I've made it liquidy so it can get to the bloodstream faster and begin to get the healing going. All right, so what you want to do is drink 1 glass of this in the morning, drink your water for the day, another glass in the evening.
What we didn't add.
Yeah, we're gonna add that agave. I just in case some of y'all be going through some changes with the diabetes or hyperglycemia.
Yeah.
We like to sweeten ours a little bit. It's a cactus, and
Yes. And Sabi has it as because it is low. It has a low glycemic index. So if you are diabetic and stuff, it shouldn't.
So we'll add that and then increase and have our glass for tonight. But what I love to do is to try have this twice a day. We haven't done that in a while. We just kind of stick with one. But Yamada makes today she made more of the cleansing, the liver cleanse.
Yeah, the liver cleanse. And we share that with you guys early on. So that recipe is on our website. But instead of at the beginning, we're making it to combat the keep our immunity up for the COVID. However, we did not continue, or at least I did not continue doing that on a consistent basis. So
again, more of the not so sweet apple.
Yeah, the granny
apple. All right. So this is when you're attacking.
So that's going to be once in the morning. Make that juice once in the morning, and then again in the evening.
Okay. And now up to this a couple of days ago, because I did ask her, so I tend to order my sea moss already made from already done by Dr. Sabi, or she just ordered another package that we'll make it ourselves. But you've been putting together a sea moss drink in the morning. Tell them what's in that. This has really made a difference for me by getting this every day. Really need to do it twice a day, but
yes, we do. Well, it would basically be it was the dandelion greens. So made it green like this. Added the 2 tablespoons of sea moss gel, or no, 4, because I'm making it for both of us. Right. Put in it coconut milk to make it creamy. The banana, the baby bananas. And that was it.
So
and the agave.
Right. And intruders don't like coconut. All right. So that's like parasites, et cetera, et cetera. So you're gonna go through changes, especially makes be a little woozy in the head or whatever, because it's really fighting those things.
Yes.
Now the goal is, like I said, we make it like every now and then, just like, oh, I'm feeling a little, well, let's make it. This today, because we're gonna see y'all another month from today. The goal is we're gonna do this twice a day for the next month. That's the goal. Then you get a chance to see the difference by just this right here for that. And we're saying that as a goal so you can begin to see the evidence.
That's right.
Amen. The evidence.
The evidence. So being consistent, having a plan, and having a purpose. That I was telling you earlier how those are my 3 words for this year. Purpose, intention, and consistency.
Amen.
And so for me, the consistency is to stay with this consistently. So the plan, and to stay with the plan consistently. I know that I don't always practice it. They say doctors don't always make the best patients. So I know I'm not a doctor, nor am I related to a doctor, nor am I a health practitioner. But as a biologist or as a scientist, when you experiment, you have to come up with what is the intention of the experiment, and then what are the things that you're going to set up for the experiment, and then what's the period or the trial period, right? That's what they do with this vaccine that has been rolled out. There is a trial period. So this is what we're doing. We're doing this trial period. This is the experiment, and we will be bringing you guys along.
Yes. We don't have it like that every day where people sort of chronicle Sometime on YouTube is day one,
No,
day two,
like,
day three.
I mean,
day
for
four.
us, it'll be
We
a
be
month.
whacked out.
It'll be a monthly
Yeah.
update. Maybe maybe between now and then, might jot some things down in terms of like what we're noticing, so that we can share that.
Kind of a running diary. We'll kind of keep that. So look, check this out. I saw one of the questions pop up.
Yes.
Where do we buy
the CMOS?
the CMOS?
I saw that question. So we've moved into the Q&A, and if you have any other questions, please go ahead and put them in the chat. So the CMOS, really, I think the one that you can either get it pre-made, and I don't know if you have the jar somewhere around. You can get it. You can get it pre-made if you don't want to make it. And I believe the one that Anthony gets is so this one is from, and I'll put it in the chat.
Yes.
It's from organiccmoss.co. And so it's organic sea moss, and you can see we used it up, but it'll already come made as the gel. And so you can just scoop this out and get it that way. What I've done is I looked up on the internet and really to get the actual sea moss. And so what I was looking for is that it was organic and that it was wild crafted. And so wild crafted, that basically means that it hasn't been farmed. It's sea moss that is out in the wild, in the ocean. And for some people, you might, can you bring it back so I can type it in? And for some people, you might be like, farmed. Well, maybe you are aware that they farm salmon. They farm a lot of the fish. And if you eat shrimp, crab, any other stuff, they farm those too. They create farms in the ocean. And so they do the same. They do the same with, unfortunately, with seaweed and sea moss. And so if it's farmed, it's not in the best. It's not in the best conditions because it doesn't necessarily get the clean flow of water. And so if it doesn't get the clean flow of water, it's not oxygenated. And so those are the two things that I look for, that it's organic and that it's wild crafted. And so I can't remember off the top of my head where I ordered the actual sea moss. I know it's on its way over. And so maybe once it comes in, I can.
But if you all remember early on, I did have one here packaged.
Yes.
And it was the same.
Where you got it?
It was the same. It was Jamaica that came over, but you had to look for it not to be farmed, like she was saying. It's got to be that original. So it takes a while to come, but it does arrive.
Yes.
Because of the holidays and the COVID, some of it by delivering slows down. You might be able to click on to see if you can do it over a day. You just have to pay more.
Right.
If you're in a real needy situation.
Right.
But the sea moss, remember, it's gonna taste like the sea. Some people don't think it has a taste, but it's going to, if you rinse it out really good, you'll get the instructions. You can look on YouTube. There are different types of ways how to prepare the sea moss. Don't be afraid of any of those ways. It's just a matter of how you like, because I've done it like 3 different ways because I tried everybody that I saved on YouTube to try it that way. So one lady really rinses it. Some people leave it soaking overnight. And some people say you don't have to do that because you rinse the minerals. They just have different theories. So I tried it. This last batch was loaded because all I did was soak it, boil it, and put it in the blender. And it was hardly ever soaked so overnight. So that gave us a lot of good minerals. And we went through it because you and your sons use it for hair, and what does it do? It detangles.
Yes. Sea moss is a great hair detangler, and at the same time, it also nourishes the hair. And so, for my sons, they love it. As they're picking out their hair, they put the sea moss detangler, and it helps. So
All right, so that was good. So some have asked for the material that we show. We'll get that out to you.
Yes. Yes. We will email it to you because you had to register in order to be on here. So now we have your email, and we will be sending out we will be emailing out this information. Also on there will be I think it's an hour long video of Dr. Sabi actually speaking in one of his health talks as well. So you'll get that.
We encourage you to listen to it.
Yes.
He's got quite a story. So
he does.
You know, really messed up as a younger person, and his African Mexican mom, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, politically correct, but she taught him all about the herbs, things he did not complete school, but he's got a story. So if you listen to him, his impact on getting to the plants are really proven by his clients or people that he's helped over the years, even to a Supreme Court decision. But he may say that in the lecture. We may just get straight to some other things. And sometimes people have questions in the lecture that help you. So we just encourage you to listen and follow that.
Yeah, to watch and listen. So thank you guys for tuning in.
First Sunday of the new year. Have mercy.
Yes.
Have mercy. I feel like as soon as I can land on a pair of shoes, I want to get back into running.
And that's another thing.
Yes.
I'm glad you said that, because see guys, that's another thing that I got to get back into. I have not been able to exercise consistently, and we always talk about the holistic thing of, and look, guys, like I said again, I you know, at first I was like, man, why is this happening? But I'm gonna tell you right now that I'm glad, because sometimes God has to, you know, give us a little wake up call and say, yeah, you say you've been meaning to get back to this, and you've been meaning to get back to this, and I mean, I get it. A lot of people might be like, "What you mean getting back?" You know, you eat plant based, but like I said again, you can be an herbalist, right? But if you're not taking your own herbs, if you're not following your own stuff, then you know, the laws of nature are the laws of nature. If you don't do stuff consistently, or if you don't take time to take care of yourself, it's gonna catch up with you. I don't care what diet you're on.
Amen. Sedentary. They say a smoker that exercise is better than a vegetarian that just sits around. So take that for what it's worth. But we like to move, and we know in COVID it's kind of crazy, and so we do ask that you be safe, but get out into the fresh air, take some deep breaths, let it get into the lung, exhale it out, and you'll find that life will start to change.
Amen.
All right, there's no further question. We thank you all for being a part. I know that my men still must be into, you know,
sports are back. So football, now that sports are back.
Yeah, that's why you heard her son in there hollering the Laker game. I think he started to warm up again with another thing. So anyway, we'll get back to it. We love you all. Check back in. If you have any questions too, they can ask them really in between. You know, if they can email or whatever the connections are, we'll be happy to answer your questions, or give us a call,
or text us, or shoot us a text. However,
take care of you every day, because we're on this mission. We're gonna see what this 30 days or whatever it's gonna be, and see how February treats us. God bless you. Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye.